That's right. I'm floating now. Oh. March of the Machines brought a plethora of new legendary creatures. So many awesome cards to consider, and I'm sure you've already either started to or thought about making one of these as your commander. But you might have missed one of the coolest cards to slither into this new set. I'm talking about Palu Kronos. Palukranos. Yeah. Sure, he might look a little bland on the front side, but much like a quarter that's been sitting too long on the street, when you flip that bad boy over, there's something gorgeous on the other side. Palukranos' backside is a 6/6 with reach and lifelink, and it reads, whenever Palukranos or another non-token Hydra you control dies, create a 3/3 green and white Phyrexian Hydra creature token with reach, and a 3/3 green and white Phyrexian Hydra creature token with lifelink. That's a mouthful. Now this is a cool ability, and I'm sure you're already thinking Hydra Tribal. And yeah, but no. I think I brewed something a little bit more interesting, a little more dynamic. Instead of Palukranos Hydra Tribal, I've brewed a deck I like to call Selesnya Wiggle Mode Suicide Squad Hydranimator. Does that make sense? No. But neither would the deck list until I explain, so let's go. Main strategy. Now this deck needs a lot of mana. It's going to cost 3 green to cast our commander, and then another 6+2 life to give him the old omelet flipperoo. So we're going to take that initial 3 green cost and use it to our advantage. We're running a lot of permanents that we can play in the early game that have green mana symbols, alongside our commander's 3 green cost, so that we can use Karametra's Acolyte and Nykthos Shrine to Nyx to propel ourselves into the mid to late game. This is technically a green and white deck, but 64 of the mana symbols in the deck are green, and most of those are permanent-based symbols, so these devotion-based cards are still going to work well in our favor for the most part. Now we are going to use that big bunch of mana to cast Hydras, but we're only running the Hydras that have X in their mana cost and come in as 0/0s, because these are the ones that are going to work with this strategy.
But Mr. Jawman, aka Anja MTG, aka Ja Rules Lawyer, there's so many good Hydras that you're leaving out.
Well, creepy little Megamind me, that's because this isn't a typical Hydra deck. Let me explain, because it's time for Eli's secret sauce. We've carefully curated these choice Hydras because we don't care about special synergy. They are here because they can be easily reanimated by the myriad of white value cards that were designed to bring back better creatures. See, because if we use any of these reanimation abilities on our 0/0 Hydras in our yard, or we cast these Hydras for 1 or 2 green mana and don't pay the X, they instantly die. But we don't care if these Hydras are brought back and then bite the dust. If we reanimate them or cast them for 0 while the backside of our commander is out, they're gonna instantly die and create 2 Hydra tokens, 1 3/3 with reach and 1 3/3 with lifelink. We got Sun Titan, we got Sigardian Savior, we got Return to the Ranks, Ascend from Avernus, and Dust to Dawn, all of which will let us generate tons of value by regrabbing our Hydras, who all are technically under 2 power and all cost 2 or less when they're in the yard. And I threw Protein Hulk in the deck, because when he dies, he can grab us up to 6 Hydras, which will in turn make us 12 Hydra tokens. Shout out to Sean, aka Bird Person, aka Pigeon Sean, aka Mr. It's Got the Least Fucking Butter, my dude, for that suggestion. And to support this strategy even further, we're running 3 token doublers in Luminous Broodmoth, which will allow us to pump out twice as many tokens when our Hydras head to heaven. In terms of ramp and card draw, I opted to go permanent heavy so they'll synergize with our devotion-based cards, and so we can abuse and reuse the value that we brewed by bringing back our boys. We're also running some board wipes that are likely to be one-sided, along with a removal package to take out any problematic pieces that our opponents may present. And to draw cards, we've got some standard card draw pieces on the list, and we also have some that are extra spicy. Elemental Bond, Garruk's Pack Leader, and Rumor Gatherer are all insane with our flipped commander. They trigger off of every token we make. Hi, Editing Bay Eli here. So to stay on theme with my Suicide Hydra deck, my footage decided to follow suit and die. So I'm missing a part, so I'm filling it in here. What this was supposed to be was a transition into talking about big finishers, and one of the cards I mentioned that didn't make it through the footage was a Chroma's Will, which is going to let us go over the top of our opponents by giving them a myriad of keywords like flying and double strike, lifelink. We should be able to finish them in one big swing when we have a bunch of tokens out. And Azuri's predation is gonna go crazy with some of the card draw effects and token doublers that we have. Overwhelming Stampede is just great. Love you, babe. And if we cost off Steer Command and choose to destroy all creatures with converted mana cost 4 or greater, it's not gonna hit our commander or any of our tokens, which opens up the opportunity for us to smack the rest of the table out of the stratosphere. And that, my little baby boos, is Selesnya, Wiggle Time, Hail Hydra, Animorphs, or whatever I called it. Bye.
Go away. Go away.